Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Mexi here once again, and I'm back for yet again for the likes of the Mexi Toys videos here. Yeah, I will fetch the letter for later, because for now, I'm gonna be focusing on strictly onto the kitchen dome for, as to be expected, collecting more power stars. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Super Mario 3D All-Stars while we're still playing through Super Luigi Galaxy playthrough in Super Mario Galaxy for the Nintendo Switch. So, last time, we have basically managed to I won't classify for saying, we did manage to beat Bowser for the first time with Luigi in this particular playthrough, and as a result, we've managed to stumble across into the twin counterpart of Luigi, so that means it's like a duplicate version of Luigi, but with non-playable character and stuff like that. So, and as a result of that kind of stuff though, yeah, that's basically all there is to it. So today, for this video, is the fact that we're about to be able to continue things on in the kitchen dome, and able to actually collect even more power stars along the way, and exponentially we can do some multiple missions throughout. So, yeah. Not much explanation for this point right here. So either way though, yeah, let's get to it with the forms of a very spooky sprint. So just in case we can able to actually race against with that spooky spirit once again. Except this time we're going to be playing as Luigi, of course. So either way though, since that Luigi was now this time around very brave for more than anything. So as a result, we can once again utilize the pole star mechanic. So anyway. So a few things I want to explain for this point today while this is happening, since there's not much else I can honestly try to speak of. Today's date is of course the 7th of October today, in this case in 2022 today, and suffice to say, for one of those Nintendo 3DS games to be more specifically, in terms of celebrating it, and also say applies to the Wii U game as well, happy 6th year anniversary of the release of not only Mario Party Star Rush for the Nintendo 3DS, specifically the UK version of that particular game's release, but also happy 6th year anniversary of a pretty alright Wii U game, even though it might be the final set-off from the Mario series of Wii U games specifically, and that is Paper Mario Color Splash. So, yeah, I can't believe that those two games together managed able to celebrate the 6th anniversary of those specific games' release. And for what I've looked back on them both, they're alright. I mean, usually, relatively speaking, let's get to it with the forms of Mario Party Star Rush first, and that is the fact that because, obviously, I'm the die-hard Mario Party fan, as you already know, for what I've looked back on it, though, it's alright, because almost first of all, it was actually one of the greatest NT-Cube Mario Party titles, but it doesn't seem to last very long after being outclassed by the majority of the two Nintendo Switch games recently, such as Super Mario Party, in addition to Mario Party Superstars as well, even though that Superstars is more of the best Mario Party games being developed by NT-Cube after all, because, you know, the classic Mario Party gameplay aspect returns. So, but this time around though in HD and also 60 FPS for the majority of everything else for that resides, and overall a really pleasant package. So anyway, for Mario Party Star Rush though, after I looked back on it though, as I said before, it was alright. I mean, sure, it's a bit better than the forms of how it does it in both 10, Island Tour, and pretty much the top 100 as well. But there are some new negative things I can think about the game, is the fact that, well, I kind of wish there was more to it than that back in the day. Although, sure, we actually got ourselves gem-packed with all these content modes, like, for instance, Boo's Block Party, as well as the forms of rhythmical game, and also Mario Shuffle game, which is basically you can either play the game either with amiibo figurines, just like in Mario Party 10 Amiibo Party, or just strictly just without it, and then just play as one of those, you know what I mean, cardboard cutouts of themselves. So, yeah, I guess that probably explains it. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and get on with this. Oh, and another thing as well is the fact that I just really wish if Mario Party Mario Party Star Rush were able to actually have more mini games instead of just only 53, which it seems very little considering how the fact that unlike 9 Island Tour, they both managed to have like gem-packed with all these mini game selection. Like for instance, they have like 80 mini games. Well, technically, if you want to count the extras, then that makes the entire replayability when it comes to replaying certain minigames throughout. Whilst the Forms Within 10 though, at the very least in Mario Party 10, does manage to offer us ourselves about 70 of those minigames, which seems a bit Whoa! What the hell? How did that boot bomb just somehow hovers up and then he just somehow chased after me? Oh man, I seriously did not expect to see that coming, huh? So anyways though, anyway, as I was about to say, because at least in Mario Party 10 does have 70 minigames, which is about 10 lesser minigames compared to the forms of how it does it on, you know, Mario Party 9 and Island Tour selections of minigames lineup. But as a result of that kind of stuff, though, I think that's as far as I can say about it. No! Oh, okay, no! Ah, come on! Why is my pull start thing not function very well? Ah, jeez. 2 total deaths so far in this particular section, which is a bit embarrassing if I have to say so for myself, especially because I was in a rush, so as a result, oh my god, he's actually still flying again? Good lord, what is happening here? Anyway, because even then though, at least it wasn't until in, you know, like I said, from the likes of the Mario Party, the top 100, because it has 100 exact minigames, and Super Mario Party only has like 80 plus minigames, just like 9 and Island Tour, and in Mario Party Superstars has a grand total of 100 minigames, plus 5 if you want to count, you know, the item minigames as far as this is concerned. So at the very least though, with 2 of those games specifically, one on the 3DS, which is the top 100, and the one on the Nintendo Switch, which is of course Superstars, has gem-packed with minigames, despite the fact that it's basically a remake of certain minigames in Mario Party's past. So either way though, because for some reason in Star Rush though, seem to have little amounts of those minigames to reside. Like I think it has like 26 free-for-all minigames, and Coin Avalon has about, I would say 12 minigames and 12 boss fights as far as I'm aware. And finally, for anything else though, I think it's been more specifically with that, mind you, it has been a very long time since I actually last played Mario Party Star Rush, kind of think about it, because I'm more into the forms of the classic traditional style. Although, speaking of other modes, as far as looking back on it though, Totem Scramble alongside with Bloom Bash is actually pretty good. Not the best though, but either way though, at least it does its job. We're able to actually revive in the actual classic system with all that, you know, collecting coins, collecting stars at the end of the game, but it's been buckled down by the forms of you have to deal with boss fights. And what's even much more, little bit convenient is the fact that you have to replay those boss fights lots of times depending on what boards you go into, and thus the boss selection has been shuffleized depending on how many times you replay the board and stuff like that. And it might be seems a bit convoluted, and as well as the forms of a bit tedious at points, because obviously you face up against with the exactly same boss fights as in your first time playing through, so. But that's just what I think about it. Oh, and also with the Bowser extra games as well. Like, I think there's only 3 of them, just like in, well, the majority of the GameCube Mario Party titles, specifically 4, 5, and 6. Well, except for 7, because 7 has, like, exactly 7 of those Bowser minigames, because the reason why I say that, because, you know, you have 3 of them based off from multiplayer, and 3 of them from single player, and the last one is actually when you complete the solo cruise mode for the first time, so, which, you know, makes obvious sense after all, so, anyway, and, as far as other modes, looking back on it though, Mario Shuffle is a bit mediocre in my opinion, just because, well, I have no idea what that is though. It feels like a spiritual successor to the forms of how it does it on or it's technically more likely the sequel to Amiibo Party from Mario Party 10, except the fact you go on the linear board, or the linear, like, board layout, but you can able to actually take control of like 3 characters in one team, and your objective is to able to reach the goal, and there's no mini games in between. Because unlike in Amiibo Party and Mario Party 10, that it does able to have mini games depending on the actual turn is ended. So, well, at least there might be some consumption for its capacity. So. And as far as the rhythm game goes, it's alright. I mean, nothing spectacular or anything. Although, mind you, the only coolest part about it is the fact that it has a lot of fan services with all that music selection, where it comes to likely based off from the Mario's previous adventures, including the out of nowhere Dr. Mario music, which is of course chill, which you do need to unlock, and alongside with the forms of Diddy Kong as the fourth and final unlockable character, or to be more specifically, the 12th character, to be more specific or something. So, either way though, it knows what it is, I guess. And for Coin Avalon though, I will have to say that Coin Avalon mode is probably the best mode of the game, just because you go through a serious amount of those. One of those 3 randomizable selections of minigames you go through, and on top of all that stuff though, you're able to actually race while collecting coins in certain minigames, which is a pretty cool concept, and every once in a while you get interrupted by the forms of not only Bowser survival time minigames, but also that you might as well able to, well, utilize the items in the most uniquest way by doubling up your coin storage and also just obtaining more red coins for the red coin bag, and you name the rest. And as far as the forms of the other modes in particular, like Challenge Tower, nothing groundbreaking or anything, but it does manage to test your endurance, especially noticeable when if you get to the later difficulties, it will get tough later on. And for Boo's puzzle or Boo's block party though, it was alright distraction. And well, because usually relatively speaking though, it's just one of those puzzle mini games you can play for some distractions, I guess. And obviously that Star Rush does not contain online play until before Super Mario Party, and Mario Party Superstars finally has the ability to play online play, but either way though, as to be expected with most old school Mario Party games every nowadays. But either way though, that's as far as I can usually just try to say about it. And on top of all that stuff though, one thing I found was a little bit off-putting, especially noticeable, likely for instance, if you ever try to play multiplayer on both Mario Party Star Rush and the Top 100, as far as I found out, that if you try to play the game in multiplayer for its local play, if you don't have the actual copy with you, while simply able to actually let one player actually has one game cartridge, and then if they do wireless play for local play, then basically the actual sound cues, or specifically the actual sound quality, if you ever try to play multiplayer within Star Rush or the Top 100, that sounds a bit off. Like, usually you get like an 8-bit rendition of certain music, but ultimately speaking though, the actual voice clips, or anything else to be more specifically, it kind of reminds me of one of those 1964 announcer voices from the likes of Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, Tokyo 2020 game, except the fact that, well, relatively speaking though, that the, well, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 does not have the handheld 3DS counterpart, because obviously the 3DS has ended its lifespan, because obviously they just moved on to the Nintendo Switch, so. And also with the forms of that poor sales when it comes to certain 3DS games, as far as I'm concerned, ranging from, well, you know what I mean, with all that, you know, certain ports and all the other stuff, mainly for like Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn, and also Mario Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey, and you name the rest, and that's far from between, so. Anyway, as far as looking back on Paper Mario Color Splash, as far as I'm concerned, after 6 years since when that game was first released on the Wii U, in this case the final Wii U game to be released on the Mario universe, as I said before, it was also alright. I mean, it's not the best, unlike the N64 installment, and as well as the the amazing The Thousand Year Door game on a Nintendo GameCube that, relatively speaking, well, let's get with the positive things out of the way first. I will say, the music is really good in Paper Mario Color Splash, and the visual style, while despite it's a bit generic, because obviously it's almost entirely based off from New Super Mario Bros. Style, but apart from those side of things though, it's actually pretty gorgeous, like especially it's been made by like certain cardboards and stuff like that, which I will say it does look very pleasing to the eye. Mind you that the actual in-games engine will heavily borrowed it back until when Paper Mario The Origami King did came out in Journey forms of in about 4 years prior, until likely on the worst year we've ever experienced, which is of course 2020, but then again, I promise you guys until at some point, actually no way, until when it gets to the point until 2023, then I should probably stop able to actually mention about that massive complaint about the actual worst year we've ever experienced. I know, I can't help it for myself because either way though, it's just, that's what I have to essentially have to keep on relying on, so. Anyway, so here we go onto Boyle Base Galaxy for the final time, because obviously as you saw, that we actually already obtained the green star, because after all, that's one of the first 3 green stars that we actually gone through, so either way though, we've only got 2 of them left, until we were able to actually access the Trials of Galaxies, which, at some form or another, I'm actually going to be focusing on the Trials of Galaxies until later on, rather than just saving up until at the very end of this particular playthrough, because it seems very obvious that I'm actually going to be able to try to rush things a little bit. Well, nothing major though, but either way though, I think that's as far as I can try to describe it, so. Oh, and also I feel like the actual, the dialogue and the humor in Paper Mario Color Splash is actually definitely a lot more hilarious this time around though, as opposed to the likes of, you know what I mean, Paper Mario Sticker Star though, it has a lack of charm or a lack of humor and stuff like that, I will have to say for this point. But regardless of such though, but there are still some negative things worth noting for, such as for instance that the story is nothing particularly groundbreaking, as well as not that spectacular either. It's just once again you go for the forms of, although uniquest theme about the game though is of course like a circus base level or something, and as well as the forms of let's just say Prison Island and stuff like that, which is always like, oh, here we go, Pokemon, gotta catch them all. Because the reason why I point out, because, you know, that reference right there. So, although sadly, this will be the last time seeing the Pokeball reference in this game though, sadly, so, oh well. Because, let's face it though, we're almost at the point where, I think suffice to say, that we're almost at the halfway point already, in terms of Super Luigi Galaxy playthrough as a result. So, either way though, things goes by very fast, I'm not gonna lie, so. Anyway, so that does it for those galaxies, and now it's going to move on to, of course, Bowser Jr.'s Airship Armorer. So, yeah, once again, we'll have to take down Bowser Jr. So, anyway, I guess that's that. And, I'm still not a big fan of the battle system from the likes of Paper Mario Color Splash, because it feels a bit. Not only is it exactly the same battle system as you remember from Sticker Star, but also it feels a lot slower than the forms of how it does it on a fast and frantic and, well, just energetic, you know, battle system on the old school Paper Mario games, specifically Paper Mario for the Nintendo 64, aka Mario Story in Japan, and Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door on the GameCube, aka Paper Mario RPG in Japan though. So either way though, because I think most people seem to get very tired with all that changing battle system, because they want to strictly go back into its original roots again, so. God knows until specifically on the next generation of consoles in particular, but we'll just see what happens during that time, so. Anyway, so yeah, another thing is worth noting for is the fact that obviously as far as what Tiana, as you already mentioned about, ever since and during of her conclusion Let's Play for the sake of the forms of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX Let's Play, then obviously that yesterday about the fact that My Little Pony the movie, 2017 movie, has recently become 5 years old recently yesterday. So either way though, I've watched it again from the likes of not only on DVD, but also on Blu-ray as well, and I still enjoy it even to this day. It's especially noticeable because, you know, very long time since we actually had a 2D animation after when, let's just say Home on the Range just somehow screwed over the entirety of the 2D animated hand-drawn animation community, which is, you know, bit of unfortunate because, well, that film just, well, I'm not talking about My Little Pony the movie 2017 though, because it's still good in my opinion. The Home on the Range though, ticks me off. Like, literally it just ticks me off. But anyway though, so let's go ahead and just once again toss those Koopa shells at Bowser Jr. and hopefully this should be a quickest method by doing this, and sure enough, we actually did beat him in the quickest way imaginable. And hopefully we should be able to receive the 4th Grand Star for Luigi. And afterwards though, we can basically move on to, well, I was expecting to be able to go into the bedroom dome next, but as far as I found out with that particular letter in mind, then I'm thinking we're also focusing on that one of those missions in Battle Rock Galaxy first, so... Anyway, so, and also that I'm still not a big fan of how the fact that the actual themes of Paper Mario Color Splash, it still feels a bit not original or anything, it just feels a bit lack of originality department. So because of that though, yeah, I still find Paper Mario Color Splash to be an okay game, but I will say it feels a bit better than the forms of how it does it on Sticker Star in my opinion though, because good lord, Sticker Star is still my least favorite game in the series, as you probably already know. Especially noticeable how the fact that Chucko Conroy keeps on complaining about the fact that with that, you know, Sticker Star game is considered to be one of the worst games that's ever existed. But either way though, maybe I get ahead of myself, so... Anyway, so now we've actually accessed the bedroom now, so either way though, before we move on to that, let's just go ahead and talk to Mail Toad right here to receive another letter for Luigi, but either way though, we need to head over to Battle Rock Galaxy next, so... Anyway, oh, there's another letter, I think it's more accurately just 1-ups in general, so... I don't think we need to worry about this for right now, just because we got a whole lot of extra lives right now, so... Seems quite a lot, relatively speaking, so, anyway, so I guess that's pretty much about it, basically, when it comes to those particular, anniversaries of certain games alike. Although, there was that one in particular game that I suppose that maybe I forgot to mention about, and that's the forms of Sonic Boom, Fire and Ice for the Nintendo 3DS. Although I might as well say this anyway, though, happy 6th, or should I say, happy late 6th anniversary of the release of, well, Sonic Boom Fire and Ice. In this case, a really good Sonic Boom game, the only good one, next to, you know, Sonic Boom Dash 2 and stuff like that. That, basically, though, thankfully it does not able to actually have that much negativity. Well, aside from the fact that the story might felt a bit too simplistic, but regardless of such, though, I still find the gameplay itself to be quite good. Like, certainly a little bit more, you know, tolerable in comparison to the forms of that atrocious Wii U game, because the Wii U game sucks. And, yeah, because still, I found the 3DS entries when it comes to Sonic Boom games is pretty alright. Like, relatively speaking, though, Shattered Crystal is still okay, but, for Fire and Ice, though, for me, though, is, I'm not gonna lie, pretty good. So, yeah, not much else commented on this for the sake of time, so, but again, I must be honest here, because it's been about, well, let's just say about 2 days ago, since I actually last recorded this, basically, so, anyway. So, yeah, that's out of the way for these, specific game anniversaries for all of that back in 2016 in mind. Also, we'd like to mention about something, and that's the forms of how the fact that we actually got something new recently during the forms of today, actually. In regards of the forms of Marvel Studios kind of thing. And that's what appears to be a special presentation which involves around Werewolf by Night, and it's streaming just recently today on Disney+. So either way though, I'm actually very curious to see how that's going to turn out. And also we got ourselves some more infos on other Marvel Cinematic Universes stuff is about to be coming. Such as, for instance, we got ourselves Secret Invasion, which appears to be is going to be releasing until next year in 2023. I think it's going to be like a series or a film. I'm not exactly 100% sure because it has been a very long while since I actually watched something related to MCU. or in some cases the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as far as I like to pronounce that. And there's also the forms of Armor Wars, which I wasn't expecting that. And also we got Iron Heart, and also mentioning about Daredevil Born Again, and even Echo, and even Thunderbolts was actually included on here, which is, well, I've got nothing more to say, because either way though, technically I think I sort of mentioned about this from the likes of the forms of the previous parts ago, from the sake of the forms of this entire Super Mario 3D All-Stars Super Mario Galaxy game or something, but either way though, because again it has been a very long while since I actually mentioned something related to Marvel Cinematic Universes and stuff like that, so... Anyway, so now we're done with the forms of that particular Luigi under the Saucer mission, so either way though, but hopefully we'll meet up with Twin Luigi for the final time, until if we get into Honey Hive Galaxy for the 5th time as Luigi. So for now, let's head over to the Bedroom Dome and head on straight into the forms of Ghostly Garden Galaxy in Bunnies in the Wind, so we're all able to expect to catch that Star Bunny onto that Puzzle Cube planet. So, oh yeah, and another thing I would like to mention about this as well, that I suppose I forgot to mention about, another new thing is about to be coming, in terms of Disney-related thing. That's what appears to be a new ship, which appears to be by the forms of a Disney Cruises Line 6th ship will be a Disney Treasure, which it will be setting on sale for the sake of the forms of, well, until 2024. So alongside with the forms of Inside Out 2, alongside with Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and especially noticeable with the forms of other films for that matter, such as Kung Fu Panda 4, and, pretty much everything else in 2024 is going to be a lot of higher expectations. And, on top of all that stuff though, is the fact that, oh yeah, relatively speaking though actually, is the fact that, let's just get into the forms of some coolest aspects about the forms of today's discussion, and that is the fact that, well, I can't believe by saying this, but it looks like that, we're actually going to be getting ourselves another, new character is going to be playable in a different fighting game, because previously we had Simon Belmont and Richter Belmont from the likes of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate after all, but this time around though, Simon Belmont is now going to be joining on to Brawlhalla. So in this case though, is the fact that, yeah, I wasn't expecting that he was going to be on that particular game as well. And I think he's going to be on releasing until the 19th of October, which is about a day before Mario Plus Rapid Sparks of Hope is going to be releasing during that specific 20th of October during that time. And alongside with the forms of Simon Belmont is also coming on to, well, you know what I mean with all that Brawlhalla fighting game, but also Alucard from Symphony of the Night, apparently. So, although don't get your hopes up at this point though, because I'm pretty sure that both characters are likely cosmetics between each other or something. But either way though, I haven't exactly looked upon that much gameplay footage of it though, just because, well, I'm just usually going to be focusing on some of the exciting stuff from, you know, Mario Plus Rapid Sparks of Hope, and pretty much everything else that I could possibly think of, but I can't think of it on top of my head, so... But either way, so it looks like I somehow managed to catch that Star Bunny in the quickest time possible, as you can probably tell. So anyways though, let's just move on to the second mission in Ghostly Garden Galaxy. So, oh, and the next thing I would like to mention is the fact that recently, one of those TV series in particular, based off from the forms of the good old timeless classic tale, which is of course The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid TV series, is now becoming 3 decades old, since 1992. So I can't believe that particular TV series is now, well, 30 years old now. So as a result, obviously it came out exactly the same year as when Aladdin movie exists. So as a result, which eventually later on, that Aladdin gets its own TV series after the events of what the release of Return of Jafar did somehow manage to release during that time. So yeah, it seems you know, kind of convenient, despite the fact that I haven't exactly watched that much of well, the Little Mermaid TV series as much, just because, well, it seems very obvious that I'm more into the forms of boy cartoons back in the day, which is especially true because obviously with kids back in the day, that's more referring to as like, well, I don't know about you, biased I guess or something, but either way though, I honestly have no idea what that's about to be able to just become a thing or anything else like this, but still, it might be seems a little bit random thing to say. So anyway, yeah, I can't believe that particular TV series is now, well, as I said, 3 decades old, or 30 years to be more specific. Although, the only time I do remember that particular TV series is the fact that I used to have one of those, well, let's just say, Disney sing-along songs VHS compilations. Although, mind you, I didn't exactly own all of them, mind you, because there are a few I actually owned back in the past. Like, well, let's just say, for instance, I usually had 101 Notes of Fun, and also there was The Bare Necessities, as well as Under the Sea, and Friend Like Me, which I think Friend Like Me, VHS, you know, sing-along songs compilation is the only one I do remember the most. And from what I can gather, is the fact that one of those songs in particular contains is obviously the TV series of The Little Mermaid. And what I've noticed something is the fact that I think it was actually called Harmony, if I can recall correctly. Mind you, it's been donkey's years since I actually known that particular songs and stuff like that. Well, I think it's called In Harmony, actually, so, yeah, I just somehow managed able to look it up, so, anyway, because as far as I'm aware, though, I think that's the only thing I can think of, but I haven't watched any of those episodes of the Little Mermaid TV series, because, you know, more into the forms of films themselves, and in fact, recently, though, is the fact that I, somehow managed able to realize that I somehow no longer have yeah, although I used to have the Penguins of Madagascar series of DVDs, by myself, but I've decided able to actually just to, well, no longer have it with me, just because, well, honestly, the only time I watch TV series is on the big TV for, like, channel surfing, and that's pretty much about it. I don't normally watch upon episodes on, specific TV shows on DVDs as much, although the only time I do it is by the forms of owning myself the entire My Little Pony Friendship is Magic lineup of episodes, and usually relatively speaking, because I just loved able to see how the, you know, some of these episodes turned out, so. But I digress, so let's just go ahead and kick, you know, Major Barrow's butt again, so, but this time with Luigi, and what makes this a bit difficult as Luigi though, is the fact that obviously because of his slippery attraction, and because of that though, if you accidentally managed able to get slipped right in front of Major Barrows, then obviously you're gonna get hit, although it will be very noticeable until whenever we get to the Daredevil mission, so not sure it's something, alright? So anyways though, let's go and receive the Power Star, and of course the next mission we're gonna be hit on to next is of course the secret mission in Ghostly Garden Galaxy, that's for sure. And everything else should be all turned out, and all that stuff, so. Oh, and also another thing as well is the fact that recently, thank God, no more Gachu moments for Mario Kart Tour now, which I know there might be still some Gachu moments here and there, but thankfully no one there is like quite drastically heavy compared to the forms of how it does on the previous months. And it's especially noticeable now we actually got, you know, battle mode for Mario Kart Tour, and I'll get into more details about that until whenever I'm able to actually discuss my first thoughts about, you know, battle mode for Mario Kart Tour as of late. And on top of all that stuff though is the fact that we can pretty much, well, guaranteed able to talk more details about Mario Kart Tour at some point. Although, there might be some other discussions I would like to make, but honestly guys, I think that's as far as I can try to think about this, so. And I think suffice to say though, another one of those questions I would like to point things out, let me know in the comments down below for the question of the day. In terms of the forms of 2024, well I've already technically mentioned about the forms of how you guys are very excited able to finally get a chance to see you know what I mean, Inside Out 2 until specifically 2024. What the other films are you looking forward to until 2024? Because for me though, it will probably be Mission Impossible Dead Retconning Part 2, as well as the films of, well, Kung Fu Panda 4, and Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and of course Inside Out 2. And also Avatar 3, if that seems to be the case. Because obviously we still got, you know, Avatar sequel is going to be on its way. So it should be pretty promising, despite I still haven't get a chance to see the first film yet. But I do know the first film is still on Disney Plus right now. So hopefully I'll get a chance by watching it. So at some point. But anyway, so now we actually got up to, like, how much stars I've got? Oh, 47. So, feels like we actually did manage to collect about quite a lot of power stars from the likes of today's video. So yeah, it's very, pretty awesome actually. Especially because, well, as I said before, there's not much else I can talk about, apart from the fact that I would like to mention something more. But honestly guys, I think that's as far as I can try to, like, say about this, I guess. So I still haven't heard anything from the likes of CatKing74 for quite some time after the events of his conclusion of his Let's Play of, you know, Pikmin 251, just because, well, he did say about the fact that he will eventually come back, but it's so hard to tell, because he was expecting to able to go back onto Mario Plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle Let's Play, just before when Mario Plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope is eventually going to be coming to the Nintendo Switch. But either way though, it's so hard to tell at this rate, especially because, well, although he did manage to able to finally get to its return for its YouTube community and stuff like that, what makes things a bit confusing though, and we'll have to admit it though right away, is that originally though, Mario Plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle was supposed to be his 23rd Let's Play, but it somehow got replaced by, you know what I mean, Pikmin 251. So anyway though, so let's go ahead and grab some more star chips to be able to just, well, continue our progressioning there. So yeah, everything else will be a little bit more checked out from here. So, oh, and another thing I would like to point out as well, so that relatively speaking though, that since that, you know, Tiana, she recently finished up with, you know, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX Let's Play, so hopefully we'll get a chance we can able to actually do the Switch remake as well, if there are some capacity with all that comparisons and all that stuff like this, like established with all that, you know, comparisons, as well as some visual changes and pretty much everything, so but we'll just see. We'll see what happens there. Alright, time to flip those switches to be able to go from one place to the other, so, but, yeah, I think that's as far as I can try to discuss upon for this point today, guys, because, although, again, I would have liked to be able to mention something more, but I think that's as far as I can try to discuss upon things, so. Anyway, so let's go ahead and flip another switch to go from one place to the other again. Oh yeah, and there's also another game I'd like to point out, is the fact that another one of those anniversaries did manage to happen from the sake of the films of ever since about yesterday, actually. And that is the fact that, well, oh wow, I somehow managed able to stumble onto that cannonball without getting hurt, so that's pretty alright. So anyways, let's grab that power star, and, well, we can just move on to the next selections of missions, I suppose. But either way, though, we'll just see what happens until, you know, God knows if the prankster comments will show up. But if not, then we can pretty much move on to the next galaxy or something. So, although, I think it was on the even numbered, I believe, that basically it will trigger the actual, the Daredevil comments. I'm not exactly sure. Yep, sure it is. So, yeah, everything else goes all checked. So, anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I suppose that I should probably be able to actually point things out. Yeah, another one of those games for specifically the 3DS, more like, happy 5th year anniversary or happy 5th birthday of the release of Mario Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions. Despite the fact that the actual game didn't sell very well though, sadly, because it's kind of a shame, because it's likely a pretty good remake of the Game Boy Advance game, except the fact that it was on the 3DS this time with a different art style. And on top of all that stuff though, with the additional side mode they include, which I felt a little bit mixed on with the side mode. Like, well, first of all, whenever I look back on it though, on Mario Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions recently, it was really dang good. Even especially noticeable that it plays just like the defaults of how it does it on the original version on the Game Boy Advance. And, yeah, it still looks really dang good, despite the art style feels a bit too buffering in certain areas, but it doesn't bother me at all though, personally. But either way though, maybe it's because it may be biased when it comes to original charm or something, and thus, they just somehow removed the most important cameo appearance since the likes of Super Mario RPG, which is of course Geno. So I still have no idea why they just somehow managed able to remove the important aspects on the previous Mario RPG games in the past or something. But it knows what it is, I guess, when it comes to modern games every nowadays, I suppose. But either way. And thus I really love the actual the remastered soundtrack, and especially noticeable they got the third, or should I say the second variation of that particular remake's soundtrack based off from Partners in Time, where you have to do with a tutorial segments and stuff. Well, I just really love that particular Jump DX theme music because, well, it reminds me of so much of, you know what I mean, Partners in Time. So, except the fact that a little bit more upbeat and stuff like that. And, also another thing I would classify for saying, oh yeah, let's get to the forms of that mail turret around here, and sure enough, here's the final letter to Twin Luigi, which is of course taking place in Honey Hive Galaxy. So, yeah, we'll do Freeze Flame until next Monday, perhaps, because obviously that this coming weekend, that both Pac-Man and Pinkie Pie are both tackling through the forms of the next board in Mario Party Superstars, so that will be Spaceland after all. So anyway, and as far as the Bowser's Minions mode is concerned, it was okay in concept, but execution-wise, I'm not a big fan of the forms of the tactical RPG like Bowser's Minions kind of strategy kind of game type, because I'm not very great at it though, first of all, and thus not to mention though, it feels kind of luck based, and also you have no control with all that Bowser's Minions and stuff like that. Although the story perspective is interesting, but it's just the fact that I'm not a big fan of the gameplay style as much, probably because I'm more into forms of, well, more controlled-based RPG actions and stuff like that, for all that jump and hammering thing from the likes of, you know, Mario Luigi Superstar or Superstar Saga game. But anyways though, let's free Twin Luigi up, but before we receive our another Power Star, we'll grab some more star bits alike, and sure enough, we'll talk to him, and yep, oh, hey me. So yeah, that's one of those alternating the dialogue, because obviously we're playing as, you know, regular Luigi, because obviously with all that brighter color and stuff, but hey. And this will be the last time seeing this in actions, because obviously we've done most of those, well, rescuing Luigi segments. So again, there's only 3 of them, so not much else to explain about this. So there we go, 50 Power Stars, so I think, suffice to say, let's save our game, and we should probably end things off at this point right here. So join me next time for more of Let's Play of Super Luigi Galaxy in this Super Mario 3D All-Stars compilation game. It's the fact that we're going to be continuing things on in the bedroom dome. So I'll see you guys until on Monday. So this will be a little bit more fun and interesting, so I'll see you guys then. Later, fellas.